The courtroom smelled faintly of iodine and regret, a scent that clung to my jeans as I stood before Judge Harlan, her eyes narrowing like she just spotted a coyote in a suit. "You ever seen a man weep over a bull, Mr. Callahan?" she asked, voice sharp enough to cut barbed wire. I didn't answer. The bloodstains on my boots spoke louder than words. Then she turned to Evelyn Whitaker, my neighbor, HOA tyrant, and the human equivalent of a gated community's iron fist. "Ma'am, for what you and your cronies did, I'm sentencing them to 5 years of community service on his ranch." The crowd gasped like someone had just flung a rooster into a wedding. Evelyn's face froze, her lips pursed tighter than a banker's wallet. "And me?" she squeaked. I leaned back, a grin cracking my face for the first time in weeks. Justice had just saddled up, and it was riding straight for her. It all started with a smell, the kind that hits you like a punch you didn't see coming. You ever smell the wound on a bull? Not fresh, but festering under a summer sun, like rust and despair had a baby. I stepped out to the pen, coffee mug still warm in my hand, and stopped dead. My 3 prized bulls, Goliath, Samson, and Big Duke, were staggering, heads low, stumps where their proud horns once curved. My mug hit the dirt, coffee soaking into the dust. Someone had slipped onto my ranch in the dead of night, held down my bulls, and sawed off their horns. This wasn't vandalism, it was a declaration of war. In Tanner County, secrets don't stay buried, they stumble out like drunks at a barn dance. My trail cam spilled the truth by noon. There they were, Carl and Lila Monroe, Evelyn's HOA lackeys, dressed like they were auditioning for a low-budget heist flick. Clumsy, loud, and dumber than a sack of hammers, they wrestled Goliath, got kicked twice, and still managed to hack off his horns like kids butchering a pumpkin. They even fist-bumped after, grinning like they'd won the lottery. I hauled the East VY Denke to court, with Goliath parked outside in a trailer, his hornless head glaring through the slats. Judge Harlan didn't blink. But when Evelyn strutted up, pastel blazer gleaming, things got downright biblical. "It was a community necessity," she declared, chin high. "His bulls were menacing. They stared at my poodle, Tinkerbell, with malicious intent." The judge's eyebrows shot up like they were trying to escape. "So you mutilated livestock on private property?" Evelyn beamed undeterred. "For neighborhood harmony." What came next wasn't just a sentence, it was retribution with a bow on it. Harlan didn't just find the Monroesh, ordered them to work my ranch for 5 years, under my thumb, to breed and raise a new generation of champion bulls. Evelyn shrieked about lawsuits, claiming neck strain from the verdict alone, but the gavel fell, and the deal was sealed. They showed up the next morning, looking like they'd been sentenced to a gulag. Carl wore a "live free or die" tank top and flip-flops. Lila clutched an emotional support hamster in a glittery cage. Evelyn, clipboard in hand, sported a headset like she was directing a moon landing. I met them at the gate, boots planted, Goliath looming behind me, his eyes boring into Carl like he remembered every second of that night. "This ain't over, Jake," Evelyn hissed, glancing around for an imaginary audience. "Oh, it is," I said. "But it's just getting started." Their first task was shoveling manure, 80 pounds of it per bull, per day. Carl gagged into his own shoe. Lila snapped selfies with a filter that added cowboy hats. Evelyn refused to touch a shovel, instead sketching a manure optimization matrix on her clipboard. I handed her a wheelbarrow and watched her dreams of efficiency die. Evelyn tried to weasel out by day 3, citing medical exemptions, harassment, even claiming my fence via OLAT city code. I reminded her we weren't in the city, pointed to the court order, and nodded at the deputy sipping coffee on my porch. She backed down, but not before filing a complaint about the hostile vy best of my barn owls. Carl zapped himself on the electric fence twice in one morning. Lila fed the bulls kale chips, swearing it was holistic. Evelyn nailed an HOA suggestion box to the henhouse, which the chickens promptly used as a toilet. My ex, Clara, the only one on the ranch with a lick of sense, watched the chaos unfold, munching popcorn and tossing me a beer. "Vengeance suits you," she said, smirking. But beneath the satisfaction, a question gnawed. Why? Why dehorn my bulls? Was it just HOA pettiness, or something deeper? Clara once mentioned Evelyn had owned land here before selling it to the city, back when she was married to a councilman. Maybe this wasn't about bulls. Maybe it was about the one piece of dirt she couldn't control. By week 2, the shine was gone. Evelyn ditched her linen suits for overpriced, rustic overalls. Carl limped after falling into a water trough. Lila narrated her misery like she was filming a Sir V.Y. Val's show. I sipped sweet tea in the barn's shade, watching them crumble under the sun and flies. Justice wasn't about making them competent, it was about making them endure. Evelyn kept trying to manage, plastering my tool shed with a laminated Ranch HQ sign, complete with a QR code linking to her HOA blog. I tore it down twice, then left it up to see how far she'd go. She added a form for goat-related emotional distress. Carl's fence repair attempt ended with him flat on his back, hair smoking from a crossed wire. Lila wailed about astrology SAVYing him. Evelyn turned to sabotage, whispering to a journalist about farmer cruelty. I gave the guy a tour, let him film Evelyn while VYing her clipboard at a rooster, and sent him home with eggs and a headache after he walked into a beam. His story never ran, but the footage leaked, and the henhouse honcho trended for a week. The real test came during a calf herding lesson. It should have taken 20 minutes. It took 3 hours, a sprained ankle, a spooked llama, and a call to animal control after Lila swore a goat was plotting against her. Evelyn fell into poison ivy, while VYing her HOA binder like a white flag. That night, I wondered who'd break first. To my surprise, it was Evelyn. She got quiet, stopped preaching, and started waking before dawn. I caught her sitting by the fence, staring at the fields like they'd insulted her shoes. Days later, she was brushing an old cow, gentle as a mother. Clara noticed too. People like Evelyn build walls so they don't feel small, she said. This place shows them how small they are. That's where it starts. I didn't buy it, not fully. People don't shed their skin that easy. Then I found a letter buried under vet bills, a development firm offering to buy my land, with a note in Evelyn's cursive. Think it over, Jake. We could do wonders with this space. She hadn't changed, she was playing chess while I was playing checkers. A cold front rolled in, mirroring the tension. I didn't confront her, just watched. She kept up her cow-brushing act, chatting with Clara like they were old friends. I threw them a curveball, a ranch Olympics, for the community. Half the town showed up, itching for drama. Events included hay stacking, calf roping, and pig herding. Evelyn, to everyone's shock, climbed onto a pony named Firecracker, who bolted straight into the duck pond. She emerged soaked and raging, demanding a redo. The crowd roared, and the pond princess went VY-rel. That night, I found a strange truck in my pasture. The driver, a suit named Greg Hensley from Horizon Fields Development, was surveying my land. I pointed to the shotgun on my ATV, and he peeled out, cursing. Evelyn, sipping wine by my fire pit, didn't flinch when I mentioned Greg. She admitted she'd pitched my land to developers, calling it underutilized. Ever think about letting go? She asked. I told her to finish her drink and leave before I let Goliath chase her with a bow on his tail. The next morning, Goliath broke loose, storming toward the barn where the Monroes were working. Evelyn faced him with a bag of carrots, and for reasons I'll never grasp, he sniffed her hand and walked away. That night, Clara found a 15-year-old lease pro VYing Evelyn's house sat on my land, a clerical error from a crooked city deal. She wasn't just fighting for control, she was clawing back what she'd lost. By year 3, the ranch had changed. Carl's carpentry skills shored up the barn. Evelyn ditched makeup for chores, even humming while shoveling manure. Goliath mellowed, glaring at clouds instead of people. A rhythm formed, jagged but real. Evelyn still micromanaged, but she listened, carried treats for the goats, and didn't flinch at my sarcasm. Carl turned handyman, sketching a feed truck business called Cattle Cab. Lila bottled ranch honey, branding herself Tanner's Queen Bee. Then Evelyn proposed a community rodeo, not a scam but a genuine event. We called it Herd vs. HOA, with hay bale dances and sparkler hats. The town came, ate casseroles, and clapped for Evelyn's speech, mildly annoying but honest. I clapped too, stunned. In year 4, the land dispute ended quietly. Evelyn signed over her property's rights for a symbolic $1 lease, shaking my hand without a fight. Clara stayed, our old wounds fading over whiskey and fence repairs. By year 5, I noticed small things: Evelyn's scar from a bull graze, Carl chatting with the cows, Lila's mural of me on a pig. On the final day, I handed Evelyn her release papers. She nodded, folded them away, and stayed a week, organizing the barn like it was her legacy. Then she was gone, leaving a sticky note. "Don't wreck this place without me." Weeks later, a package arrived, a deed to her house, gifted for the bull. I stood in the dust, dogs at my boots, chickens clucking, and realized some things don't change. But people? Sometimes they do, in ways you'd never bet on. Evelyn Whitaker came with a grudge and left with dirt on her hands, a chicken named Glitter, and a piece of my respect. Out here, justice isn't the wildest thing, it's what grows after.